Okay, now that we're sitting here, one of the funniest, and I know you saw this thing, and I know you took it personally. Okay? One of the funniest things I saw.
Even introduce the guy.
No, we'll introduce him after this. But one of the funniest meme joke things that I saw was this African American family. Things are like in the house. Opens on like a mother with a newborn. Oh, cute, cute, cute. Everybody's all cute, cute, cute. Then she gives the baby obviously like to the uncle. But the uncle looked like me and Abuti. And the uncle doesn't happen to be wearing a shirt. And the second he grabs the light is so straight on the titty. the lighty goes like this. Like, no, not even like, you know that way. He's like, what a meal. Like, and now it's like, what the it was. And also, I would unlock new fears for me and babies. So, as you are joined by the great comedian Abuti Lolo today,
yes,
your opening question: has a baby ever tried to latch?
Oh, this is gonna go south.
No, it's gonna be beautiful. This is the worst it's gonna get, maybe.
Yo, finally, you guys called me. Finally.
We were saving. No, what had happened is we wanted to get good at this thing first before we invite people with weight.
I know you watch
what
the
I mean?
first 3 episodes and you're like, okay, they call in their friends. I'm definitely there by number 6, 7. Hey, number 8, 9, other women we don't know. I don't know where you'll pick up some Indian aunties from. Hey, I'm thinking, hey, I had this phone call, I didn't mention even on tour and everything. No call, nothing. Yeah, these people. Like, you know what, I'm not going there. How? Today, Snapper, episode 30.
No, because the thing is,
one.
we don't just want to have comedians on.
I hear
it's
you.
too easy to assume that comedians are always happy.
Yeah.
And we want to give people
And we're not.
variety. And we're not all happy all the time. Which
Especially in this economy.
Yeah.
There's no
Cyril's
happiness in this economy.
I think we're less happy than the normal people at the moment. Like it's not even like, you know what I mean? Audiences are motivating you before the show.
That the most unhappy people are the ones trying to make everybody else around them happy.
Listen, so those things are hilarious until I watched that meme, and I know you guys have watched. If you haven't, let me tell you about this. That mental health meme, I'm sure I've even mentioned it on the podcast before, where it's looks like British boys at the, going to watch the ball, going to watch the football, and they men about my age, and the one is sad every game.
Yeah.
The bra always going for it, good times, good vibes. Then it ends with the sad bra comes to the game. The good times bra has committed suicide and never told anybody. Then I honestly think that we are in more danger of that type of thing in society today, because before, yes, it was comedians that went on stage and pretended to be happy for everybody's sake, and then we'd leave. Now, everybody's got a device. Whether you've got 10 followers or 100,000 followers, you feel like somebody's watching. So you feel like you've got to put on a happy face, put on a brave smile. Everybody's never been more influenced by other people's things. And showing off lifestyle and pretending that, your debit orders are
all sorted
safe.
and fine,
So I think we open with check on your friends. Even the ones that look happy, please check on your friends. Check on your friends. On that note, all right?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. How are you guys?
We are good. We are surviving, pushing through, and doing okay.
Killing
we're
it.
Happy to have you here.
Still taking all our corporates, but we're happy.
I mean,
Friends.
when you say
can't
our
say
corporates,
our
that's a very... You can say taking all the corporates.
Just because you bank with the bank doesn't make it your corporate.
No.
Those are our corporates. So Nick was on a cooking show. I'm like, our corporate.
Wait.
Foodie, There's corruption here.
No comment.
Can I ask, something that I thought about that we haven't done on the previous episodes is actually just find out from our guest, what is your definition of happiness, or what is happiness to Abuti Lolo? Can you even define it? And there's no right or wrong answer, but just...
Ooh. I don't know if I can define it, but I think happiness to me is being able to do my own thing in my own way and still being able to push and especially still have a little bit of money in my bank account. That's for me. Because one of the realizations I came across, I think a year or two ago, is that not having a single cent in my bank account really, really depresses me.
Yes.
Like it really does, and it really turns my life upside down. People closest to me are in the most volatile area. But I've realized that I'm okay with having that depression. What I'm not okay with is not having any money. And that is why, for me, the pursuit that I'm on and everything that I'm on, I'm like, I hope this thing, as much as stand-up comedy makes me happy, and I know comedians don't ever like bringing the money aspects into it. They always say, as long as I can make people laugh, I'm 100% with that. As long as I can make people laugh, and then Monday after the show,
You're right.
Yeah.
king, then...
No, it's perfect. When we started, there was a saying that you can't be funny when you are hungry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, if you're ravenous, it's very hard, and it's the same as just think about it. When you're angry, you don't find anything funny.
There's nothing funny.
You don't find. So now, if you're a comedian and you're angry, you can't be going on
You
stage
can't
and telling
be funny.
people how nice things is when the only thing you can taste is bounce debit orders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not. I have, however, gone through a part of my life where I realized how, and I don't know if it's just capitalism, society, whatever, but I think that a lot of us suffer with our moods being linked directly to our bank balance. So for a long time in my life, I felt like I was only happy when I had a lot of money in my account and terribly sad, down, depressed when I didn't have a lot of money in my account. And I hated that I give money that much power
in your life.
So that's where the happiness economy actually comes from. It's
Sure.
exactly from that, where the sum in my mind was success or money equals happiness. If I have money, it's easy to be happy. And then I realized that the equal sign is bidirectional. So if money or success equals happiness, then happiness equals success.
Yeah.
And I felt that if I define it like that, if I chase the happy, I can, because of I've made the sum, I can make money the byproduct. So I get what you're saying in terms of it's good, but I get that, and I want to just give the audience context for you because you're a hustler, bruh. And when I say that, like you're the type of guy that. There's a lot of comics that will say they're unhappy when they don't have money, but there's also no evidence of effort from their side to get this money, like beyond what they're doing. So I've got no time for a person that says to me, hey, I'm only happy when I have money, but they're the type of person that sits and waits by the phone for things to happen, waits for somebody else to provide opportunities. So when we first met you, it's not Cecilburg. What is that area that you took us? Secunda, worse than it's there. People in Cecilburg judge Secunda. That's how people from Cecilburg are like, oh shame, Secunda people. So I mean, and I think this is the prime. So you worked for the plant. It's Cecil in Secunda. You worked for the Cecil plant. You're going to tell us a little bit about that, but I think what impressed me the most was, A, you were working all the way in Secunda, living in Secunda, started comedy in Secunda, then created a scene in Secunda. So you were already earning your money, and instead of leaving your money and coming to the big city like everybody else, you kept your money and were doing the comedy. I mean, but there were times where you weren't sleeping, where you were driving back. We come off stage at 1 o'clock in the morning, you're driving back and are going to be going to work the next morning. So let's start there, because I think let's provide some context. If you're conscious that finances, and I think it applies for all of us, talk to me about the way you then approached making sure that Abuti is always financially okay.
I think, first of all, it had to do with seeing struggling comics.
Yeah.
I really don't want to fall into this bunch, no matter.
And you don't have to look far.
And there are many.
You don't have to. It's not like you have to Google. Maybe next week I'll see one. Go to any comedy show.
If you Google, you don't find them because they're struggling.
Yeah.
You know when it's really, really bad, when you're at a comedy show and you buy like a plate of chips.
Yes.
And you're offering gens, and then there's like two are eating from a point of hunger, and not just from a point of these chips. I was like, hey, I don't want to live this life of wondering what's going to happen next. And also, I didn't want to fall into the trap of hating the industry.
Yes.
And which is what happens when you're hungry. Like, till today, you bump into comedians very far, maybe from a Pampir stand, and you're like, oh, you moved from Joburg? It's like, yeah. Angry, when I let Nick, you don't book me. So I had to, I didn't ever want to fall into that thing in my life of whenever I see Nick, I hate him. Or if I ever bump into like a Takunda, I'm like, but you booked a comedian that started comedy after me, what. So I always said that I'll never leave Secunda and what I have that side to come here to struggle, to come here to look at people and wait for their phone call, and their phone call, even that phone call, it's somebody who's just trying, and then whatever they're paying you is only going to pay for bread for the following week or whatever. So I said that I'll leave once I know that apart from the phone calls alone, whatever I do can sustain me, meaning my own shows and my own things. So without ever having to wait for a phone call, because there's nothing worse than waiting for that phone call, that email. Yeah. Now Kate texts you, and as soon as Kate texts you, she just wants to know if you have new PR pictures, and you get angry at her, like,
Dude, you know, what I love about comedians is comedians in their generic quotes, in terms of the way they process information and work out life, you're going to go read a lot of motivational books, and you're going to see the things, the way comedians think, marked out. So I read a book by Robin Sharma called The Leader with No Title. I listened to the book. Okay, I listened.
I was just watching you lie to us.
I listened to the whole book.
Live. I listened to people who know they're just lying.
No, shut up. I listened to the entire book, and I can be honest. I haven't listened to many books in my life. In fact, that was the first book I listened to end to end. And the only reason I listened to that book is because I was hosting a conference, and the conference was based on that book. And they were like, if you want to host this conference, you have to have listened to the book. And then once you put a book and my debit orders in the same WhatsApp group, of course.
Yeah.
But the point is, the book speaks about being a leader without a title. So the book speaks about, in today's time, a lot of people get their power, i.e. also their happiness, from a title that somebody else has given them.
Sure.
So in corporate, for example, you work for a business, the business makes you a manager.
Yeah.
We've all worked with people whose whole personalities fundamentally changed the second they were told they're no longer just a call center agent, they're now a manager. All of a sudden, they're
I thought you were going to say award-winning comedian.
no, we'll get there.
You don't have to do Dylan like that.
No, Dylan doesn't count. Dylan doesn't count because Dylan still lives in El Dorado Park. So it doesn't matter how much success he achieves. We can all say, "Parere end of the day, end of the day, you see clips break." So the point is this: is what you did was, the book basically says, instead of waiting for a title that can be given, that can also be taken away. So those same titles that are given can be taken away. And if you're going to find your power there, you're in trouble. So if you move to the city because somebody else is going to book you and make you a big act, you're putting your success on their hands. And when that person decides you're not funny anymore, you're going to feel like you're not funny anymore.
True.
So then the whole book speaks about, be the CEO of yourself first. Be the CEO of Abuti Lolo and make those CEO decisions for Abuti Lolo. So for me, when you say it like that, it's exactly the same thing of, I'm not going to put my success, things about myself that I know are true. So when I don't have money, I'm not in a good space. Yeah. I'm not going to put those things in somebody else's hands. 100%. I'm going to make sure that I'm in control. Because you were somebody that could have easily had a good career, retired like most of the population, electrical engineer.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Which means you went to school for this thing.
100%.
And was that what you always wanted to do?
No. But I had to work in Cecil because I had to make the family proud.
Aha.
Because everybody in Secunda works in Cecil.
Yes.
So when I finished matric, I actually went to go study construction management at the University of Pretoria. And then it just got tricky, man. It was just a tricky place to study, so I left. But then I knew that my mom didn't want me to study, and I always told her that I didn't leave because of I don't want to study or I'm lazy. That thing just really, really put me in a dark space. But I will go study the next year. So I went to go study electrical engineering, and then that's how I became an electrical engineer. And then I worked in Cecil. Got tired of those stairs.
If you know, you know.
Can I just say that, dude? Your mentality is blows my mind. Like the fact that, because I was at the newcomers showcase last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever. Then I went to they had a workshop as well, and I listened to the newcomers asking questions, and a lot of them have this expectation that comedy must, because I've been on stage and I do comedy, I tell jokes, comedy must now start giving me things. And they all have this thing of these internationals come here and they make all this money and we get nothing, and and they have all these excuses as to why they can't do things. And I just want to say to them, go and speak to Abuti, because for the audience who doesn't know, this bra used to drive from Secunda to Melville with no chance. You weren't booked on the lineup. There was no guarantee of an open spot. But he made the effort. He went the extra mile to get there, to be seen, to get on stage. And a lot of people do that, but they're not funny. He's also funny. No, because we know people who drive from far, like Sierra,
to note,
and they're not funny. But then there are others. There are from. Hey.
And it's not like there's 20 comedians in Zira. Now he's watching like, what a weird way to find out I'm not funny. You know what's the bummer about this drive is that there was always a chance that you would perform, but there was a greater chance Gola would just pop out of nowhere like, yo, Jens, I'm going to London tomorrow. Can I get a 5? And then, then you're coming back next week again. Now next week you pop in. Now Riyad Musa's here. They're like, hey, we'll see.
So my question there is, what kept you coming back? What kept you doing the thing, making the drive, pushing every day?
Hey, I wanted this thing badly. I still want it badly. Like, I really told myself that. So what had happened was, when I got into Cecil, I got in a graduate program. Graduate program was a 3 years thing. 2017 till end of 2019.
Right.
So my thing was, and I started comedy just before then, I think. And my thing was that at the end of 2019, I would like to be the one to tell the company no thank you. That was always my thing. And when you then speak to comedians have the set list of rules when you start comedy. The first, build your 5 rule, get as much stage time as possible rule, and whatever. So I had to then step into that. And not only step into that, I then had to realize which shows are important for me to always make sure I'm getting the 5 minutes at. Because there are some shows that you can always get 5 minutes, and then you get to the show and you're like, it's my 5 minutes that is adding value over here. You know? And I don't want that. I want, even if I don't perform, even if I don't perform at the Goliath Comedy Club tonight, I just got to see a Gola do his thing. I got to see Eric die, and I understand why did he die, so that I don't do the thing. Sorry, Eric.
You and many South Africans have witnessed.
So it was a learning. I knew that it's a learning path. And I need to invest as much time and the money that I have, like because I have a salary. I'm like, I don't get to buy new sneakers with the salary. I don't get to buy new T-shirts with the salary. This salary, when it comes in, whatever's left over is literally petrol and 2 waters when I get there, or 2 beers, whatever, so that I can get to these shows, not trouble anybody. Because I also don't want to be, there's that Secunda comedian coming again to ask us for beers, So I want to come there, do the thing, bounce without even having to trouble anybody, and that's why. Many people only found out late that, hey, you're going back to Secunda.
You said that you made sure that you understood that you were going to gigs that were good for you.
Yes.
And I think that it's so hard, especially in South Africa, for a comic to learn that. So you, and I don't think I've ever heard it articulated like that. Don't go to gigs that you wouldn't benefit from if you weren't on stage.
Yes.
Because I feel like because that was never taught to me. Don't waste your time at a gig where... So a good gig means even as an audience member, as a comedian, you're getting value from the
100%.
gig. You're either learning by seeing something happening well or not happening well. You're learning from the way the setup and the orchestration and how we're going to articulate this whole craft is going to be. And if you are going to jump on stage, you are adding as well. Which I think is phenomenal advice. Especially, and I think a lot of people get lost in the middle there where they think just going
is enough.
Is
just
enough.
stage time.
100%.
Just stage time.
Or
That's
just
all
one
you
of those things. Because that get your first 5, get as much stage time. Those rules actually work.
100%.
But you can apply them properly and then see results. The first time I started seeing, the results are working off is, and I'll never forget the first time I saw the poster because I thought it was so smart, and it was, I've got friends too.
Yes.
So we always have a joke in the industry, like, because we don't have a normal hierarchy, like where a lot of you guys work is you've got your entry-level staff, call center agent, supervisor, then a manager, then a MD. With us, there's the entry-level, the base, the bottom people are called, and many more. And you and many more is if you booked to play at a show and your name isn't on the poster, it just goes Abuti Lolo, Nicholas Goliath, and many more. more.
yeah.
Then if you earn many more, it's a common thing in the industry. You're at the bottom, then you make it onto the poster, then you eventually get to be a headliner.
Sure.
And that's kind of how that trajectory works. Talk to me about when you came up with the name and I've also got friends.
I've got friends too.
I've got friends too.
It came from. I realized that many comedians, when they have their lineup shows, it's Nicholas Galads and Friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to go the and Friends route. I'll go a different. I've got friends too. And when I started, I've got friends too. I started from a point where, technically, I wasn't supposed to be hosting shows.
Yes.
If comedians were to say anything about
Fantastic.
it,
You were not.
I wasn't supposed. I was very far off. But
Can I just say that I was not one of your friends? At
no,
any
you
point.
were, and then you had a flu. You were my friend before
in
Jason.
Secunda, yes. I remember.
Before Jason.
Yeah.
See how
No, I
people
forgot.
forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They forget fast when they are sick. The man wasn't even sick. He just woke up Saturday morning, looked at his GPS like, Sanlam will take care of me next week.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And you see, and then that's when I was like, but also, I'm also not going to wait. I'm not going to wait for you guys, because if I wait for you guys, it's going to take forever. So let me start my own thing, and if it fails, it fails. If it works, it works. And I even remember a time, and shout out to you guys, I remember a time when you guys had a competition for open acts. You guys were doing some tour, I remember. And I didn't even ask for a spot. I entered. I went to the whole competition route, and we performed at Carnival City, at Mardi Gras. And then I remember you guys were doing another show, and that's when the winner was going to perform. And Kate had reached out, like, yo, you won this competition. We're going to perform here, here, and here. I was like, hey, Kate, I'm not really worried about performing at the show. Is there a chance I can maybe sit down with the gents and have a meeting with the gents, just so that the gents can offload onto me what I need to do? And I remember we sat down at Wimpy, and Donovan was even telling me how to fix my posters and things like that. And all those things helped the show become much better.
Yeah.
And that's all I wanted. And it's what I've been telling people all the time, that this is all that I want from the bigger gents. I'm not worried about necessarily performing with them or whatever, but if I can sit down before a show and see how does somebody do a sound check. I sat down with Kumba a lot of times, and I watched him go through every single light in the theater, and I'm like, this is how this is done.
Yeah.
This is how a sound check, this is how a show is run. Oh, this is why you guys want 5 minutes. Oh, this is why a host opens up with the 15-minute link and then 5 minutes and things like that. Just so that when I do a show in Secunda, nobody in Secunda is like, you know what, we'll wait for the collides to come.
Yeah.
So that they can say, okay, we're happy with you.
You're giving us the best level of quality in the country. Yeah.
And that's exactly what I wanted to do from an early stage, and this is what I still want to build in. It's just to have like proper shows.
Yeah, you know, I have to commend that, because there's tons of shows where guys have just found a space and they've got a mic and a speaker, and they're like, we can do this thing. And then they're frustrated when nobody comes to the shows, when audiences don't want to pay, when you have the shittest acts, people who are not. No. And
we call them circles of death.
Yeah.
People who don't get booked, booking each other,
Yes.
and then putting on their own show, and then
they
somebody who's
can't
never been
understand
to a show goes to that show and thinks we all like that.
That's stand-up
Yeah.
comedy, yeah.
So well done. Because
Thank
I
you.
feel like that's what we did in the industry as well.
100%.
We went in to go and learn. We learned with our eyes. We watched. We saw a lot of things. We spoke to a lot of comedians, and then we realized that we don't have to ask for permission. As long as we're doing the thing properly,
Yes.
we can do the thing. And
Yes.
that's what you did exceptionally well.
So nobody needs to ask for permission, but I do believe in favor of the art, everybody needs to respect the craft.
100%.
But that's the
And,
thing. Yeah,
and
yeah.
between us here, I can say that we are actually a league of extraordinary gentlemen. They're probably going to have to pay for that somewhere. But when I say that, when I came to your gig, bruh, I remember a day that you had to organize a generator because there wasn't power, and you rigged that stuff up to the hall yourself.
Yeah.
Got the generator yourself.
Electrical
Weren't willing to start
engineer.
because of the experience. So it wasn't only that we wanted to give the audiences a high standard, we prioritized the quality of the gig over our own profits and
100%,
benefit,
100%.
which was something that is not that hadn't happened. And I think that if anybody's watching and wants to start anything, if you wanna really do well and you wanna have legs, and it's not just overnight quick buck success, honor the thing in the beginning, especially more than you honor yourself. And in that, I think you are honoring yourself.
100%.
Because also comedy is not a money maker. Like being
No.
a comedian, getting on stage
No.
doesn't make money.
No.
It's the spin-offs and the corporates and the campaigns that actually played.
Yeah, that's why we need that Goliath Club to come back.
Yeah. Running gigs now, you know what it takes, my man. You're more than welcome.
I'm telling you, Lolo Comedy, we'll be there. Abuti
for
Comedy
sure.
Club.
Hey,
That
no,
sounds-
thank
it's got a
you.
ring to it. You look like you love signing rent and
Yeah, no, that club
Paying
is just going to be
salaries.
flat. No stairs, no stage. Just
in fact, the club is a downhill. It's a downhill. The stage is down. They make it easy. Bro, so man, I could speak to you about comedy stuff the whole time, but the reason we're actually here is
Yes.
everybody that we do invite, it's got nothing to do with so much as who's our friends, but it's got to do with people who, based on our perception and what they've shown us, we deem to be happy or have found some semblance of peace in their lives.
Sure.
As the series has gone, we've learned a lot about the fact that I think happiness only exists in the moment. It's more about getting your peace than anything in terms of the long-term pursuit. We've identified 3 pillars that we kind of base our whole philosophy on, if you would, which is gratitude, acceptance, and perspective. And we believe that if you can celebrate those things or use those tools every day, gratitude, acceptance, perspective, it'll lead to a happier life. So you spoke about the fact
Oh,
that
gents are using big English here, no?
no, but you find
Popcorn
you find
and cheese could never.
no, yeah.
I'm playing.
Yeah.
firing the wrong shots. We
But
only
they
fire
could
shots
never,
at
but they're
zeros.
playing.
No,
I'm playing.
that's why you hardly see Chandra on the camera. That's why Chandra is always behind.
Yo.
We love all of you. Go and watch People Need Comedy.
Yes.
It's the and if you came for a comedy podcast, that's the comedy podcast. Go and watch it. It's
That's
the
what
best-
makes you feel
it's
good.
The best
that
in the
makes
country.
you laugh.
Yeah.
It's the best in the country. Bro, from the outside, I don't know if it's whatever you've been through in your life, but I feel like your life is at a point where you're not as affected by stuff in the same way that everybody around you is affected. So like you don't react to the bullshit as much as you react to the real stuff.
Yeah.
Are we close? Is that a true perception,
Yes,
or is it just that
100%.
you put that front out?
100%. It's not even a front. I think I've just realized a long time ago that whatever happens will happen, and most of the time, people like I get what do you call it again? I get bullied a lot, especially on social media. I really, for no reason, just wake up in
Can
the
we
morning.
just have so whoever's bullying Abuti Lolo, that's our brothers. We'll
No.
fight you. In the streets, we'll fight you. Sorry.
It's the person who made the video of the water.
Eish. Yeah. So, you wake up in the morning and then your Facebook, whatever's blowing up, and then it's just people going at you. And I realized that, it doesn't matter, it doesn't faze me. It doesn't hurt me. I think I've been through enough in my life to understand what's real and what isn't. And it's not even me trying to come from a point of trying to sound strong or philosophical, like, I know they are hurting in their own lives, whatever. It's just they're just projecting. Yeah, they're just projecting. It's just whatever, guys. It doesn't faze me because I have real things that I'm dealing with in life that I need to deal with, and I can't be dealing with these things that are not real. I have to face the real things head on.
Yeah.
And the real things are the things that must be confronted. But these ones, they don't really matter, and they don't really even dent my happiness, or they don't dent how I feel, my peace and whatever. What I need to do is I need to face what brings me peace is what I need to confront.
Yeah.
And make sure whatever it is that brings me peace keeps bringing me peace, and not worry about the things that aren't part of me.
Yeah, so investing your energy in
In
the
the right
things
thing.
that are going to bring you, it's that long-term investment. It's not
100%.
necessarily going to give you happiness now, but if you keep investing long-term, it's going to give you something, as opposed to fighting whoever on social media. I always feel like those trolls on social media, when you drive past a library or Home Affairs, then you see those bras with their phone through the fence because they're trying to catch the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the person
That's the
controlling you.
Imagine.
That's the person you spend your whole day angry, fighting. How dare you?
If I
Don't
can
let
catch
me-"
this man.
Yeah. Meanwhile, his arm is through the palisade, trying this because they've got nothing better to do. Then I'm just
True.
like, I love what you're saying about spend your energy on the right thing. Stop, because I feel like too many people are too busy trying to fight. When you don't need to fight.
It's also so simple because whatever you invest in, that's the thing that's going to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you invest in the negativity, the negativity is going to grow. If you believe those
100%.
people, you're going to give them power, and they in turn will have power over you. But it speaks to two of the things that we mentioned in terms of gratitude, acceptance, perspective. There's a lot of acceptance in there, and you've seemed to have accepted that people are going to say things that are meant to hurt you. People are going to have opinions of you.
Yes.
People are always going to put their own parameters in terms of what they believe you're capable of and are not capable of. And until you accept that and go, I don't have to listen to all of that. I've got to define all of these things for myself.
Yes.
Number one, I think, is a big thing, but even bigger is perspective. I think a lot of people struggle because once they wake up, see the narrative of the comments, they can't disconnect from that.
Yeah.
They can't change that perspective into, this is not even real. These people are not even real. Their comments on my life, their opinions on my life don't even matter. How do I kind of change that? And I want to just give you a quick compliment because it just popped in my head, but there's very, very few comics that I watch in envy. Because envy is not a healthy thing to do in any art.
Oh, yeah.
And therefore there's very, very few. And you are one of those comics that I watch in envy because I started off, and I think my career exploded when I started a very similar narrative to you. And I think it comes from when you're a big guy. Self-deprecation is the shortcut. It's the easiest point of laughter. And I started with self-deprecating jokes. I've written some of the most amazing fat jokes ever.
Yeah.
Then I watch you, and I realize how much stuff I leave on the bone. Dude, it sat with me for weeks. I watched you, I think it was at Pop's birthday show, and you did such a simple gag about, can you just respect fat people? If you see me in the mall and my shoelace is untied, leave me.
It's none of your business.
Not your business. Me tying my shoelace and you tying your shoelace are two different things. So if my shoelace is undone, leave me.
Leave me alone. I'm going to run my day.
So, bruh, when I listen to that joke, it makes me happy on so many levels. A, I think it's hilarious. B, it's a perspective that I can't believe I didn't see and didn't get to. I mean, I think I once did a joke. In fact, I didn't even do the joke. I remember Vittorio Leonardi doing a joke that made me feel a similar way, where he said, please stop asking me stupid questions like why my bow on the top of my shoes is always to one side. Exactly. You respect
No
it.
reference, I don't know.
You know what I mean? It's always like, because hey, you can go straight down. With us, we've always got to find an angle. And
That's so true.
So those being able to write those jokes means you have to accept something about yourself. And I also think that as a big guy, we get good at writing those jokes because we prefer to write them before you write them, and we prefer to write them better than you write them, so that
100%.
you don't even make them around us. But what it does do is it also is a spotlight on your perception of yourself, your acceptance of yourself, and how happy you are being you.
Yes.
And that oozes, bro. Whether I see you training with Kapo online, doing foolish tomfoolery, or whether I watch you on stage bullying an audience into laugh, because that's what you do. You, Skumba, myself even, we bully people into laughing. You're going to laugh whether you like it or not. Talk to me about, help me make sense of what's happening in your mind behind all of those things to get there.
First of all, I think when I started comedy, one of my formulas was always the self-deprecating thing. And the more I do it, the more I realize that it's not only about me, but it's also about that short person in the audience, that person that's too tall, that feels out of place or whatever. Because there are many times when I've performed and I've hit hard on myself so hard, and then when I'm done, and then when you're taking pictures with the crowd or whatever, there's a lady that will come in and be like, "Yo, thank you so much.
Yes.
I didn't know what to wear to the show because I felt too big, and when I was listening to you on that stage, I was like, I need to accept myself. I think from today onwards, I'll be able to accept myself more." And it's comments like those that make me realize that what I'm doing is not only funny, but to a certain extent, it's also healing to others or touching to others. And that's what made me realize that I love doing this thing, because this thing is not only funny, but I'm touching lives, and I didn't know initially that I'm going to touch lives because I just wanted to be funny and then get paid. But now there's a whole different aspect into it because now you're helping people who are dealing with depression.
Yeah.
You know, and a size 38 is dealing with depression. I'm like, hey, I'm a 46. So, you know.
38, you're living my dream. You are me instead of 6.
You are me when I'm 10 years old.
I speak often about the fact that what happened to me, Nicholas, you must watch yourself. One of the things that happened to me was in my journey was a very similar thing where you start realizing, oh shit, it's a bit more than the jokes.
Yeah.
Then, very specifically, there was a very big difference in audience praise because audiences generally will go, hey, congratulations, hey, well done, that was lovely. Then, once an audience member went, and it's happened, many times subsequently, but I remember the first time an audience went, thank you.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're describing now.
Yeah.
Do you agree with me that there's no second to that? Like, that is paramount. You would think a standing ovation is the one.
Yeah.
But one person coming
just
to you
one.
to say, like, feels even better than a standing O.
Yeah.
Is that, am I making that stuff
You're
up in my
100%
mind?
correct. Yeah, that's how I felt. I think, was it Tips? I think it was Tips that had WhatsApped me to say, yo, man, there's a lady that just texted me now out of the blue. She says she watched you a few months ago. She was thinking about you now, and she was just reaching out to me to tell you that you really blessed her life. And I was like, this is much better than a standing ovation. Standing ovation is wow, because a standing ovation is Nicholas now texting Jason to say, hey, I want you got a standing ovation.
Yes.
That's what standing ovation
Yes.
does. It's comedians going to tell other comedians how funny I am. But somebody coming to tell you how you've touched their life hits on a much, much deeper level. It hits on that level that pastors want to hit.
Well said.
Yes.
Well said. We know pastors that want to hit.
What is Bushiri?
Subscribe you have dialed is not available. It is what it is. Bra, you've always struck me as a grateful person. Like,
Yes.
or sometimes too grateful. Like, I remember you were grateful, even though Nicholas was sick and didn't come, you were grateful that he said yes, you made us feel that way. I remember when Don and I came, this backstage bought a full chicken for every comedian. Like, backstage, that's how we were treated in Secunda. It was like, not just, and you felt that somebody's grateful. How important is gratitude in your life?
Huge. I think gratitude for me goes the longest way because being grateful shows the people around you that you see them and that you value them, To be able to say thank you to Nick for that 5 minutes is not only you just being kind, but you are showing him that you could have said no, and I appreciate what you're doing with the space that you have, and thank you for allowing me into your space. And that's how I feel about life in general, that you need to be grateful and you need to have gratitude for everything that's good that's happening around you, and sometimes even the bad. Just always have a clean heart. I grew up in a Christian-based home, and my mom is thick on church, And
She's at church now. Probably.
yeah.
Whatever time you're watching this thing.
She fasts 368 days a year. That is why all the food comes to me.
And then her fast has nothing to do with religion.
So I think when you in the church, you learn these things, and when you begin to apply them in your life, you get to understand how much better life becomes when you're just a person who has gratitude in your heart. Life is just, you're so much better. Yeah.
Just kindness, man. I
You
feel
know,
like gratitude and kindness are in the same
One and the same
WhatsApp
thing.
group.
And also, we comics, so we get to experience life differently than everybody else.
Yeah.
And that is why I think out of all the industries, comedians are the one who can openly speak about these things. And that is why we can point so many comedians, because the moment you start speaking about kindness and gratitude, people like Robbie Collins pop into your head.
Absolutely.
These are people who embody these things.
Yes.
Robbie Collins performs with Dave Chappelle.
Come on.
Just to come take your 500 rand and still say thank you.
And gives both of us the same
Same
energy.
thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Performs as hard with you as with Chappelle.
As with Chappelle, that blows my mind.
Yes.
And his humility, the way he that blows my mind all the time. And I think about things on that level, he's the first person I think of. And I'm like, if I can be like Robbie Collins, nah, if I can be as humble as him. Because me, Dave Chappelle, not even Dave Chappelle.
Bruh, you say that, but I think inherently comedy as a genre is unique in that way, and comedians across the scale are like that.
Yeah.
Because, and I think it's in other arts, right? So I can't imagine Nicki Minaj being humble,
Yeah,
because she never feels like she's had a bad show, because she's Nicki. As long as her song is playing and her audience came, she has a good show. But Dave Chappelle in his specials will tell you, the way I died 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And the thing about comedy, it doesn't matter how big you become, how good you become. A death is a death. It doesn't matter. And when you're on stage and it's you and the audience, that check means nothing.
You can feel it. You can be dying in Hammanskraal and nobody will ever see you again.
12 people, but you like, you.
No, the worst part about dying in Hammanskraal is the road home is longer. Because it's the road home after
toll
the
gates.
show.
And you know, my chat is, I think that is why for us in our industry, it is difficult for us to have as much superstars as we need.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we need superstars, but it's difficult for us to become superstars because we can die.
Absolutely.
And everybody has that or most people have that opportunity to like, let me wake up and start pretending like a star. And the first thing that hits you, they're like, yeah, you want to be a star and die, then what?
Because comedy takes no prisoners.
Yeah.
The second you walk on stage thinking you're bigger than comedy itself will remind you.
In the words of Loyiso Madinga, comedy will put knife here.
Yeah.
And make example.
100%. 100%. Because, like, I think singers, how good of a singer are you? Singers can be like, I'm a great singer, I'm a fantastic singer.
Yeah.
Comedians, hey, how good at comedy are you? Like, I'm just okay.
Yeah.
Right. Like deep down, you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm one of the funniest guys. You will see, I am so hilarious.
Can't say it.
Then you say that, and that person like, oh, where are you performing next? No, I'm performing at Center next week Friday. Oh, we're coming to watch you.
And then they're in the front row.
Hey, then next week Friday, hey, ladies and gentlemen, first joke-ish, second joke, Hey, Kiki. You hear comedians laughing, then you're like, yeah.
Hey, the worst.
That's how you know.
Room is quiet.
That's how you know. The audience members, if you're ever in a room and you're not sure, like maybe you think, hey, maybe I'm just not getting the jokes, or you know what I mean? Maybe this is not for me. But if you're ever in a show and no one is laughing except the comedians at the back or backstage, that person is dying harder than anybody, because there's nothing comedians love more than watching one of our friends.
Why do we like it so much?
I love it. I think I'm a bit toxic. You know? I think that's a toxic trait I have, because you will hear that laugh. You will hear my laugh. There's also the element of laughing at, why would you say that? Like,
the first joke didn't work.
What?
But you went for the same style in the second one.
So when you start, a death is the end of your set, right? So a death of a bit is the end of your set. Because in the beginning, you don't realize that death is a contagious thing. So if this bit dies and you don't address this death, you're going to take that death into your next bit and your next bit. So then in the beginning, it's funny to watch a guy go, so you guys don't like testicles, fine. You know what I mean? Wow, really? I thought the comedy show, not church, man. You know what I mean? Then you watch that. There is nothing more hilarious than that. Then there's nothing more hilarious, even still, than seeing a comedian that gets actually angry with the audience and starts shouting at them for not enjoying.
Yeah. Why are you not laughing?
Yeah.
Do you guys know how funny I am?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know that
I'm an Emmy-nominated winning comedian.
No!
Shut up!
No! Please, no.
We are not getting booked, eh?
I can't do this the whole day.
Only the views of Abuti Lolo. Those views have got nothing to do. Yo. Wow.
Do you know that in my second performance ever, I left the stage telling the audience how cuck they were. You guys are a cuck audience. The rest of the lineup, murdering.
Yo.
I died, and you guys are a shit audience. And that was a big lesson for me, realizing that you can never blame the audience. It's never
their fault.
It's never their fault.
Sometimes it is, but you can never blame them.
Yes.
Sometimes, I don't know if it's the audience. I think there's a lot of factors that will influence the audience,
Yes,
but it's
100%.
never their fault. You, as a comedian, I feel like we always have the ability, or should at least have the ability, to change their mood. That's our job, is to
It
make
is.
them feel
It's
better.
our job to change the mood, but it's also our job to create the environment for comedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can die because they can't see you, they can't hear you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not seated properly. They're 100%. So I get you, but it's still, we don't have that right to walk off and go, it was your fault.
You guys are shit.
The funniest, and we mentioned Robbie. If you ever seen Robbie Collins die, Robbie Collins at the moment it's my name, but it used to be, you know what I mean? Robbie Collins leaves stage going, "Thank you very much, I'm Jason Goliath." When he dies, which is equally hilarious. We have to, we could speak to you forever.
Yes.
I want to say a couple of things to you. You are one of the funniest humans in the country.
Thank you.
Your rise has been not only prolific, but I feel like guys coming in should study it. And I don't think they should be coming to us for advice. I think they should be coming to you for advice.
don't come to me.
In terms of...
You came to us. We were also like,
I'm busy.
I'm here again.
I'm busy. I wish you every success, because I honestly feel like you are still, and I think that this will become clear to you what I'm about to say next, but you are still in your infancy in this thing.
Yeah.
And I think that is such a compliment to go, you are so good at this thing, and yet I'm so conscious that in the context of the world of this thing, you have still got everything ahead of you. And I have no doubt that those things are going to come. We have to wrap up with the Goliath Happiness Index. And essentially, it's just a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being couldn't be worse, 5 being couldn't be better. Where are you in terms of gratitude on a daily basis in your life, 1 to 5?
Yo, 6.5.
Come on.
Yeah.
You want to elaborate, or you feel like you've covered that? I feel like you.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, gratitude is important.
Love that. Gratitude is the thing, and gratitude is also what makes everything else okay. When you're grateful and you're sure about what you're grateful for, when bad things happen, you at least you know why you're there, you know what's going on, you know what's still good. In terms of acceptance, I think you're also so high. In terms of accepting that your success is your responsibility. Nobody's coming to save you. The world is what it is.
Yes.
Where you are, what you are, why you are, 1 to 5.
Yeah, still 6.5.
6.5. 6.5. And last but not least, perspective. Your ability to see the world the way it is. Nick always goes, it's that quote from a book, the 5% rule. Life is 5% what happens, 95% how you respond. And you're in control of your response.
Sure.
Don't give power to the thing. 1 to 5.
Solid 5.
Solid 5?
Solid 5.
Final comments on that?
Yes. I think you've wrapped it. You know, I just see things how they should be, and I try not to see them how people are trying to project them on me, or how the world is trying to project it on me. I see it as how I am and where I am and who I am and what I answer to.
Brah, we love you so much.
Oof.
Like
And I
mean
mean
that.
So this has been such a beautiful conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, guys. And dear Sanlam, if Jason is booked, info at abutilolo.co.za.
Info at abutilolo.co.za.
Yeah, he no longer lives in Secunda. He's close by.
I'm
Yes.
just here. In fact, I'm next to your head office at some point.
Yeah, and also, I mean, we do gigs for ESCOM, qualified electrical engineer.
Dankie.
Anybody that's got electrical, whatever, maybe the Sabbath people, the battery people. I mean, you can find your niche yet. Huh?
Ozempiki. Thank you guys so much.
Ozempic, just tell her once, then you can prove to everybody once and for all.
Yo.
Once and for all.
Yeah, I'll be a trophy client for Ozempic if they can bring in the right amount of money. Yeah.
Dude, how are you enjoying the gym stuff?
I love it so much. I love feeling much better, especially on stage.
Yeah.
You know, like now when I'm on stage, I can feel that I still have endurance in me and everything. I love it so much. I love the journey that I'm on. Gym is difficult. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough, but I just love the phase that I'm in. That, like, I feel successful. You know, wake up in the morning, go to the gym.
Love that.
You know,
What
go
keeps you
home.
going back?
Yeah.
Or let me change it to what kept you going back when it was tough in the beginning.
I wanted to feel better.
Yeah.
I really wanted to feel better. I was tired of being on stage, listening to my clips, and you can hear me breathing more than telling jokes, you know? In the middle of a punchline. The sweat when I'm performing, yo.
Hey, my man, that's not a big guy thing.
After
Even
every
me.
second joke.
That's oof. The fact that you're not going to the gym because of what people think. You're not going to the gym because how you think you're supposed to look. You're just going to the gym because you don't like how you're feeling right now.
Yeah.
I read a thing yesterday that made me feel so swag about myself, and it simply said, you don't have energy to exercise because you don't exercise. And then I was like, oh, man. Oh, man.
Now I have to go.
That is so true.
Happiness is in the present, not in the past.
Abuti Lolo
not in the
runs...
future.
Sorry, Nick, I broke that beautiful thing. Say it
Very
again.
much
Say it again.
so.
Happiness is in the past?
No, it's not. Happiness is in the present.
Yes.
Not in the past, not in the future. And we create what we think all the time.
All the time.
Ooh.
So
All the time.
think positive thoughts and remember where your happiness is.
Abuti Lolo runs amazing shows all around Gauteng. Do yourself a favor, go and follow Abuti Lolo. And if you are a fan of stand-up comedy, and in fact, I'm going to say this. If you're a fan of stand-up comedy and you yearn for that Def Comedy Jam energy, this is your guy.
Ooh.
South Africa,